Alrighty, good morning, Mr. and Mrs. Leach. Welcome to the second installment here of your video update series. So, as you guys know from yesterday, we got a little bit of work done here this week for sure. A little bit, we actually got a bit of work done. So as you can see, we got all of your block work done. This is great news. So what this allows us to do essentially now, let's get to the underground plumbing right here. So you might be surprised that the drive under product that you guys have doesn't actually require a ton of underground plumbing. So this is basically your main run, your main sewer lateral right here. We give you guys a few of these stub ups around the house. It's just quick access just in case anything gets clogged up inside. These are just points outside of the house where you can actually clear out your underground plumbing lines without actually having to go inside and snake everything out like you guys might be used to. So that guy right there, that's the main stack that's gonna get us drainage in the house. So all the water is gonna come down that main stack. It's gonna come right through here. And essentially, it's got a exit point right there. And then we've got another exit point right there. Eventually one of those is gonna actually get tied into your main sewer lateral that's gonna be out front of the house. So once they stub that up, that's where all that sewer waste is going essentially. Quick little technical aspect of your block work that you see here. So I don't know if you guys can see it, but right there, you see that ground wire sticking out of there. So I can't really get to the top of these cell blocks, but essentially every single one of these pillars that you guys see right here is actually filled with concrete. That's where it gets a majority of its load capacity from. And then right there with that bond wire, this is actually how we ground out the entire house. And that wire essentially goes to your main service panel, and it goes into some rebar that's down in the ground there that you can't really see because it's covered up by the cell blocks, but it gets actually bonded to a piece of rebar, and that's what they call the bond wire. We actually have to conduct an inspection on that. It's a pretty easy inspection to do. You just have to make sure it's there and it's actually tied into the rebar. So again, I try not to get too technical with everybody, but just kind of some cool stuff to know about the house. One of the questions I always get about these little pillars and stuff here is sometimes you might see a little bit of cracking or spider cracking on these cell blocks, especially once we start to frame the house and you start to really weight these pillars down. That is completely normal. It's not the end of the world at all. Where you're getting most of your structural capacity is gonna be the 3000 PSI concrete that actually fills each one of these bricks here. Another thing you guys are about to start seeing is when we start framing, you guys have a ton of what they call LVLs. It's basically laminated plywood, super strong material, and they set all of that first before they actually start framing. So essentially the base of the house is gonna go on first. That's the strongest portion of the house. So you'll start to see all the LVLs go on once we start framing, but before we get there, we still have a little bit more concrete work to do. So we're actually just waiting on all this underground plumbing essentially to get inspected for us today. Once we pass that inspection, all of these footers that you guys see right here are actually gonna get filled with concrete. And this is what creates not necessarily the foundation of the house, but it's basically your garage slab. There's not a lot of structural support that comes from the actual foundation portion. You're mostly getting a lot of your structural capacity from all these footers that you see right here, but you know, the majority of the concrete that you're gonna see in here is essentially just creates that garage slab for you guys. But once we pass underground plumbing, we're actually gonna get the okay to start concrete, which is great news. So we are definitely back behind the 8 ball, and we are rolling on this job site out here. So it's great news. Again, I'll just keep you guys updated as we progress through. I'll try to, again, you know, I always like to give you guys phase updates throughout the house. I know you guys are definitely out of state, so I'm going to try to actually reach out a little bit more often, give you guys a few more updates. Maybe it just might be a picture here and there, just to kind of show you guys where we're at as we progress through each stage of the home, rather than doing, you know, the video update on each phase. I'll definitely, you know, give you guys video updates throughout each phase of construction if there's new, cool, exciting things to see on the house. But I'll definitely try to shoot you guys a few more pictures here and there, just to keep you guys updated a little bit more. So that's what we're looking at this week. And again, into next week, we're hopefully going to have concrete here, and then we're actually going to get some framing started, which is great news. Framing, again, it takes a little bit longer, obviously, with these drive under products. They're way bigger than, you know, our slab on grade series over there. We typically give them about 15 days to frame these houses. It typically takes them about 20, just to make sure they're getting through all their punch work and stuff. But there's a lot of things that we can still be conducting inside the houses. They're doing, you know, punch work and whatnot, but a majority of your framing is going to be done in about 15 days. So as always, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, call, text, shoot me an email, and I'll definitely do my best to get back to you guys. Other than that, I hope you guys have an excellent weekend, and I will see you guys again on your next update.